I got to Loyola University to do my PhD, I was a little disappointed. I don't know what I was expecting, but I truly think I came to the university to search for more of what I wanted. I was like, yeah, let's do more theory and let's do more readings and let's explore deeper these topics that I'm like working with since Puerto Rico. It wasn't it because the university are not at that moment in their lives. And then when they come to the PhD, they don't have the same experience that I had. So a
Mhm.
lot of the time was a lot of conversations around topics that I was like, I want to know more, but this is like a cap here. And was always a disappointment to me because it was like, I cannot talk about anything. There's no ears that can, because you have to explain so much before getting to your point. Then a lot of people ask me back then, like, how do you know this stuff? I'm like, well, I was in Puerto Rico doing a lot of activism and a lot of readings. It's not new, and nothing that I saw at the university was new. I think the thing that I learned the most was more like method and all that.
Okay.
I
Mhm.
but at the same time, it was like I had a class was really good, but it was traditional in the readings that they gave us and the way they were thinking about higher education because my PhD is in higher education administration and policy. Done with the class. And I remember going to the library and taking out 5 books of the same topic, higher education. I wanted to know more, but I tried to look at authors that had more radical ideas of how to change education as a whole. And
Mhm.
I brought it to class and I was like, this is all my books. And I am now ready to talk about this properly after reading all of this because clearly this class is not giving me what I needed.
Yeah.
The professor didn't like me at all, but it was a really interesting time to know where I was standing and what I wanted it to do because I feel like at the time I was like too focused on this let's change stuff, let's do activism, let's do which I needed to channel through Chicago Political Resistance for sure that I did, but they can never take away from me the fact that I cannot do research without seeing the power inequality,
Mm.
all of that. I just cannot do research like that.
And you were describing earlier on, you had a few different experiences happening simultaneously that were starting to shape things. You did the researching, but then also when you were done with that, you would then go and you'd be organizing. And so you're having those experiences, and then you come to your PhD program, and it sounds like in some ways it's like, all right, let's talk about the methods and let's talk about research. But naming and being aware of the power dynamics that exist in that oppression and privilege and that it sounds like to me you're saying, "I'm aware of these things, but I was in a program where it's, yeah, we'll teach you how to do research," but that teaching didn't necessarily involve understanding these power dynamics and the
Even
ways that you've seen them,
to
right?
yeah, even when there was like a class called social impact or something really cute or like radical, seemed like to get to any good conversation, you had to go through all of the explaining and getting everyone up to speed before actually going into action for sure. That wasn't even we couldn't get there. That changed my own perspective about my role at the university. That I saw I'm just gonna take what is good and it's gonna make me develop. For
Mhm.
example, those research methods classes were truly that kept me at the my
Yeah.
program because I was focused on trying to understand how to do research, but also how to do research in a way that was responsive to the communities that took into account everything that was racial issues, gender and class issues. And it wasn't until my dissertation that I finally, from years of collecting ideas, trying to put something together, I don't know if I was successful or not, but at least I did it. And
Mhm.
it's been really a lot of that through Loyola. And after that, when I started doing more evaluation, more program evaluation here in Chicago, working with the communities and the nonprofits, I felt more at ease and more like I'm doing exactly what I'm supposed to be doing, because it was at that moment when you're closer to the community that you have to put those ideas into practice. That it's not only talking about in school, in the classroom, how culturally responsive you are and all you want to be, or how things affect everyone or not affect whatever. Is actually seeing the faces of people and being involved in their development of these programs, and seeing the dynamics with the community, with the nonprofits, with the evaluator, and being a responsive evaluator for me. That was like another moment in my life. I was like around my second and third year in my PhD, and I was chosen for a fellowship in American Evaluation Association to do the JEDI program, which is grad internship equity something. They trained us to do cultural responsive evaluation,
Okay.
a whole bunch of stuff in 10 months internship. I did it in the MacArthur Foundation, and other people were in different places, and we had to do like a whole research. We did 2 classes. It was a whole bunch of things. But that time, and this is another mentor that I feel really close to since that time, I can say Dr. Rodney Hobson has been one of those people that I look for assistance, for honest feedback, for anything that is related to evaluation. But even it becomes like when you're a Jedi, he was the director of the program. And once you enter that program, you really feel like you're amongst family, friends, people who
Mm.
want to help you. So that opened up a lot of my networks that I work with now. Heal has really changed the way that I empower myself to do the work that I do, because I feel appreciated by the field. I feel like I can do stuff here. And also, I think there's a push through the evaluation field for now years of being responsive, of being not that evaluator that comes into a community and just starts saying what it needs to be done and how things should be, but rather be the facilitator of many of these processes that need to be optimized. But that experience also, just in another way, more than activism, all that, truly opened my eye to the way that me as a worker, like my actual work, can also be based on equity, diversity, inclusion, based on theories that are sensible, that are responsive to the communities. So right now, the work that I do involves several things, but of course, I do a lot of data collection and data analysis and all of that, but always through the eyes of being culturally responsive. For example, one of my projects is with the Rhode Island Department of Human Services. They are looking at some grant that they did for providers of childcare providers. And my job there, more than being just a researcher, was truly to get people thinking about the little things that they're not taking into account. For example, knowing that most of the providers were Latino people, Latino women specifically, and not only Latino women, that they're actually coming from the Dominican diaspora to Rhode Island, and knowing what happened and what years happened and the history, and centering that history, centering that experience that they had through the years in Rhode Island and through the work that they do as childcare providers, speaks to what we do in the research. Like I remember, for example, we need to change stuff in the survey and how to present the stuff in the survey, which is a big part of, for example, Latinos not choosing a race in the survey throughout the evaluation process. Because one of the things that cultural responsive evaluation teaches is to be responsive through the whole okay, since the beginning of planning the evaluation through dissemination, everything has to involve the community and has to involve the people who are being affected by it. In that way, looking for ways to be more responsive. And with merit success, not all spaces are spaces that are open to that. Uh, Many places are pretty much traditional in that sense. And there's other places that are in the contrary. They want to do everything cool, equity centered, and it depends a lot on the funder and all that. Plenty of opportunity for me to work on different topics on evaluation and being responsive to the community that I serve through evaluation.
I have a few follow-up questions for you. So one of them, I'm thinking back when you were describing your experience in PhD and you talked about going to the library, getting the books, and then coming back. One of the things I was getting from that was like, and you can let me know if I'm correct or not in that analysis. One of the things I was getting from that is I'm not necessarily getting everything I need here in this moment in terms of looking at evaluation and research in a way that acknowledges these power dynamics. So then in some ways taking it upon myself to go get some additional knowledge, and then I try to bring that knowledge back and say, all right, look, here we go. And it sounded like that one professor didn't like you, whatever. And I wondered, was a part of that because of, okay, I'm trying to bring some things back into the class and it directly challenged this. Here's the way you do it that didn't attend to that. So I was wondering, was a part of that not liking in response to, but wait a minute, there are some other dynamics that are present here that we aren't talking about that are also important for us to understand as researchers. Some ways the power structure where we challenge those things.
Really, I think that challenge to what the professor was putting forward was not welcome. But I can accept now that my attitude towards learning and towards even what I was doing in my PhD was maybe not the most productive in terms of,
Okay. Hmm.
me. A lot of during that time, a lot of me trying to balance out my activist part and
Yeah.
action oriented personality with learning that academia is also a space to explore ideas and to expand. And obviously, and everyone has their own journey and their own process and developments. At some point after that class and after seeing that the dynamic wasn't the best, I took another stand. It was like more, let's do more Paulo Freire style of like discussions.
Hmm.
And I stepped back a lot during my PhD in terms of not just bringing stuff up that were not just being discussed at the moment, just because, that's the logic next step, actually being part of the process of other people learning and experiencing these ideas. Because it was like I was working with people that, for example, I was trying to explain something about cisgender people, and I was just like going at it. Oh yes, cisgender. Someone was like, "What is a cisgender person?" So I'm like,
Hmm.
just stop everything that we're doing and let's go back to the base. But my husband always tells me this: practice will always be more of a teacher to you than any class and any theories. A lot of my learning through activism and being militant with different groups, that I got to that point that I was so eager to bring all this knowledge to the plane. But I had great professors at Loyola, truly, that acknowledged that I had that need and was like, you know what, this is perfect. Let's do this. They channel my
Yeah.
towards evaluation, for example, or towards, because evaluation is a really practical way of doing research and doing social sciences, really. And I was just like in love with the idea that I could do so much. I used to think I was gonna be a professor. But
Hmm.
after a while, I was like, "Nah, let's do
It's not
some."
what you want.
Especially because I just don't see myself working on one or two topics for the rest of my life, doing academic research and papers and all that. Not that
Mhm.
I won't do papers because my job also includes doing all of that, but it's a whole different. It's the private sector.
Yeah.
It's a different way of doing things, more collective. As like it's not that isolating. You're not writing alone. You're writing with your team and stuff like that. And the thing that brought me to evaluation, I was doing evaluation in different forms before getting to Loyola, but it wasn't until I took a class with a great professor that is now a really good friend of mine that truly I saw myself like, yeah, I can use this. I can truly make something out of this because it's not only that I'm gonna write the paper, it's that I'm making a change within me or that people are gonna be using the data, that people are gonna be using the resources that we create out of the data and that we're
Mhm.
helping. Like it felt like I was helping.
Yeah.
And that speaks to that all the experiences that I had before that truly speaks, not inform a lot of how I go into communities because one of the things that I had to learn, especially coming to Chicago, that different communities have different cultures. So it's not even the same going into the Mexican community here in Chicago, which is bigger than other Latino communities in Chicago. And you have to know idiosyncrasies and the culture and how people are thinking and saying things and those little things to really communicate and be of help rather than bring your biases. And you really have to think about and be genuine with what your privilege is and how people are seeing you in these spaces. Because I remember, for example, being pretty lost working with West Side school here in Chicago. The West Side of Chicago is really in dire need of resources and support. And the whole culture for me was new and at the same time was a learning experience. I didn't have a bad experience or anything like that. But just seeing the way that I come across, even if I'm thinking I'm acting normal, the way
Mhm.
I come across with people is really important to me. That for me, people need to feel like I'm on their side, that I'm with them. I'm not telling them what to do, especially because that community specifically was mostly, it was a black community, but the whole culture for me was pretty new overall. But overall, like how to treat children in that community, how people see children,
Mhm.
all of that truly speaks to all those experiences speaks to how I go about doing my research now. And I still
Mhm.
truly still learning a lot about different communities and how to work with them. But it's fascinating to get to do it and really appreciate the opportunity to be exposed to different cultures and to different groups and to be a resource for them. Evaluation is one of those technical stuff that nobody knows what they're doing. It's like a magical thing that nobody knows what it is. But when you truly are doing evaluation with groups and you see the results of how things are changing because of the evaluation or how things are being organized thanks to X or Y resource that you gave them or constructed with them. It feels really good. It feels like you are contributing to the world. Although my work is literally in this computer doing a lot of, data and stuff like that. But when I get to go and speak to people is when I feel the closest to my purpose.